So Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for joining us today. We'd like to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can remember a little bit more about Srila Prabhupada on his day that he went back to Krishna, Golok Vrindavan. According to the Western calendar, it'll be the 14th of November, but according to the lunar calendar, it's today, 18th of November. And I was thinking we can do a quick flow through Srila Prabhupada's life. And if anybody would like to add anything at any point, please come in at any time you want. Because we've got quite a lot of detail of his life. I think most devotees here are aware, maybe just a few devotees who may not be so much aware about his life. But Srila Prabhupada is the founder Acharya of the Hare Krishna movement. Without him, we wouldn't be here because he took the risk, the chance of leaving the shores of Bharat. Not just leaving the shores of Bharat, of course, he was in the hub of the spiritual world, in Radha Damodar temple, which is considered to be the central place of Radha Krishna's pastimes in the spiritual world. And his mood was, he was always in the spiritual world. And this is the difference between the devotee and the non-devotee, or the pure devotee rather. The pure devotee, even whilst apparently living in this world, actually is in the spiritual world, because that's his consciousness. It's just a level of consciousness. So there's no difference between material and spiritual world, because they are already, even whilst living in this world, in the spiritual kingdom, because that's their mentality, that's their spiritual mentality. So for them, even the material world is a spiritual world, which is a really extraordinary way of thinking and behaving. But he left that glorious place to come to a land where he knew nobody, and he knew that this land was full of materialism and nonsense, really. He had no money, he had no contacts, he had no followers. He didn't know where he was going to live. And he had forsaken his Vrindavan for that, just to fulfill the order of his spiritual master. So in my very limited estimation, I would say there is absolutely no one that can compare to Srila Prabhupada in this world or in any world. What he did, he gave himself completely for who? Us. So we are very, very fortunate to be the recipients of his mercy through his books, through the association of his devotees. And we should count our lucky stars, really, that this great, great personality decided to do what he did. So we definitely wouldn't be here without his grace and his mercy and his blessings. So he was born on 1st of September, 1896, on the day after Sri Krishna Janmashtami. And at his birth, the astrologer predicted that he will establish 108 temples and he'll become a great teacher of religion. And exactly what happened at the end. By the end, they estimated that they had 108 temples, including farm communities and other things like that. So really extraordinary accomplishment, especially when you think that even his age was not on his side, if you like, from a material point of view. He was 60, he was just a few days shy of 69 when he stepped foot on the boat, Jaladuta, in Calcutta. So he celebrated his 69th birthday on the ship. So he established this Hare Krishna movement, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, 1965.
Prabhuji, at the age of 69.
69, that's right. But in 1965, he set out to America. I think in 66, he established the organization. He traveled around the world 14 times and initiated 10,000 disciples or so. So when he was very young, he was born in a family of Brahmins, and they would worship Radha Govindji. That was his deity. And his father was a great devotee of the Lord. And Abhay, he wanted Abhay to become a great devotee as well. His mother was interested in him being a lawyer in the UK, but the father said, no, let him learn Madanga and become a devotee. He went through very difficult times in the early age, because there was typhoid going around and many other things in Kolkata. There was an epidemic, a bit like the corona epidemic at the moment, the plague. And he got typhoid, and doctor had suggested some meat recipes, but the father said, no, that will not do. Father was very humble, but trained him nicely in Krishna consciousness. At a young age, he would organize a local little Rath Yatra ceremony on the day of Rath Yatra. And he would organize it very, very nicely. This was an indication of times to come. Because of him, Rath Yatra is now celebrated throughout the world. Before, it was limited to just a few places in Bharat, Jagannath Puri, Kolkata, Ahmedabad, just a few places, handful of places. But after Srila Prabhupada came, I don't know what the estimate is nowadays, how many Rath Yatras there are throughout the world, but perhaps
probably every major city.
Yeah, 500 or so. If anybody knows, let me know. But 500 Rath Yatras.
Even in the UK, there's about
20.
20, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So extraordinary person. He met his spiritual master in 1922. He was not too keen on these spiritualists because he'd seen many come and go in their home. Father used to invite them, and they didn't really live up to his expectations. So he'd followed the Gandhian movement, where he gave up his education, like that. But then he had the great fortune of meeting his eternal spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada. And one of his friends took him to meet his Prabhupada. And immediately his guru told him that you're an educated young man, why don't you preach the message of Krishna all over the world? But Abhay couldn't believe the words. He was thinking India is under subjugation, is dependent. We should become independent first. This was the mood of Mahatma Gandhi's teachings. How can we spread this Indian culture if we are under British rule? But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was adamant, no, this message of Krishna is not dependent on who rules. It is fundamental now, it's so important now. You can't wait. And Abhay was very impressed. For the first time in his life, he's met somebody who's so focused on spirituality. And in 1932, about 10 years later, he took initiation. In the meantime, he prepared himself. He was associating with the Gaudiya Math. And then in Allahabad, he took initiation. And after, he was very successful business-wise. He could have been a billionaire because he had a pharmacy business. He used to make his own medicines, and he was very successful. However, there were some obstacles that came his way, and he lost everything, materially speaking, the factories he had, the money he had. And later on, he saw that as a blessing, because as he read in the Bhagavatam, that Krishna, when he's merciful, he takes everything away so that we simply rely on him, Krishna. So then Prabhupada started preaching in accordance with his guru's order, and he started this Back to Godhead magazine. Even though there was shortage of paper, he started this League of Devotees in Janasi. And he had so many dreams about Bhaktisiddhanta coming to him and saying, take sannyas. And he was shocked because he was a householder. How can I take sannyas? I still got to look after the family. But then he lost everything. And it so happened that it was a natural step towards renunciation, that he lived in Radha Damodar temple, away from his family. He had no income, yet he continued printing books. He printed Easy Journey to Other Planets, and then he printed Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 3 volumes.
And 80 books.
Yeah, in total, yeah.
Later. That was later.
Mm. And then he had a dream again. Bhaktisiddhanta was calling him, come on, take sannyas. And then one of his godbrothers encouraged him as well and gave him sannyas on behalf of Bhaktisiddhanta. Here he is, Holiness Keshava Maharaj gave him sannyas. And in the sannyas lecture he gave in English. Nobody else spoke English, but he was preparing for the West. Here he is. How glorious he looks. Then he came to the States. This was one incredible journey. We've been through this when we looked at his life when he landed in the UK, in the US rather. And this was the family he visited. This is Gopal. He stayed for a little while. The poem he wrote. And this is the ship he sailed in. This is the passport. Somebody said to him, "Oh, you got a very serious looking face. Oh, no, you're looking very sad," he said. And Prabhupada said, "No, I wasn't sad. I was in my greatest ecstasy at that time." This is a determined looking face. I'm going. And whatever happens, happens. But I am going to follow the order of my spiritual master. It doesn't matter. And then how he prays in his poem that I am your puppet, make me dance, make me dance. And in the Jaladuta, they looked after him very nicely. And the ocean was the most calmest. If it had been his usual nasty Atlantic, he would have perished, he was saying. But he had 2 heart attacks on the way. That's right. And Krishna came to him and said, "Don't worry, I'm looking after you." And then in America, he had trouble after trouble. It was challenge after challenge. He initially was in Boston, then he moved into New York, right in the center of the hippie area. The drug addicts were living there. That was, what a move that was. And for the first year, if you read his diaries, it'll bring people to tears because he had no support from anyone. He had no money, but yet somehow or other he carried on. He would go and look at the timetable every now and then. When is the next ship to Vrindavan? Then slowly he started to get followers. Slowly in the storefront that he got, which was a challenge in itself. And then they started the kirtan in Tompkinson Park. And I remember Madhusudan Prabhu sharing how he visited Tompkinson Park and went to the place where Prabhupada started the kirtans.
Yeah.
Kamakshi. It's an extraordinary way to begin the Hare Krishna movement. And that was a brilliant move because that brought so many interested people into the temple. And slowly, they began to follow him strictly. Of course, another challenge was his accent. He had a thick English, Bengali accent. And he studied in a Scottish school. So
English Bengali.
yeah, it's devotees were they will relate to us that we didn't even know what he was saying. We couldn't understand what he was saying, but we could see his sincerity and his devotion and his effulgence and his love. He would cook on his own a Sunday feast, which would be like 10, 12, 13 items. And then he would feed all the devotees, he would serve them, he would wash the pots. And then one of the devotees, I think it was Satsvarup Maharaj, he said, well, who's washing up? And Prabhupada looked around, and there's nobody. Would you like to? And then they started helping him. So slowly, they expanded into different areas from New York. They went to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Boston, Buffalo. And then finally they made the move outside of the US. First to Canada, and then from Canada they went to America, and the three couples came here with the daughter, Saraswati. They befriended the Beatles in the UK. They became very famous. And many devotees joined because of George Harrison. And he started so many school programs.
Prabhu.
School. Hare Krishna, Sitaram.
I want to share something, Prabhu.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He came to Mauritius, Prabhu.
Ah, yes.
Yes, we did.
He came to Mauritius in 1975. Yes, my brother saw him, and at that time I was young.
Okay.
I think 20 years. I was 20 years, and there were in the north of that village, L'Escalier, and there were many people met him, and he met Arjun Prabhu, who is a Prabhupada disciple, and Arjun Prabhu became his first disciple in Mauritius, and one disciple also, he's in charge of another temple in Mauritius. He visited some places, and afterwards he went to Pointe Sable in the north of Mauritius, and he remained there. And from Mauritius, he went to South Africa. Went back, he remained at these two places, each one.
What year did he come?
75, he said.
Okay.
1975.
Okay.
And I remember there was an incident that took place in Mauritius. There was a horrible car crash that took place. Brahmananda was in the car, and they were riding. It was a president's car, I think.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Into him.
Indulekha, tell you.
Oh,
Hare
yes.
Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, he went to Mauritius twice. First time he went, he was invited by the then Minister of Education, who was Mr. Parasuram. And he did not hold his promise, because what he did, he invited Srila Prabhupada, and then they were about to build a temple at Phoenix, main temple, first time, I think. So there what happened is this person, instead of helping Srila Prabhupada in this mission, the day he was about to meet Srila Prabhupada, he went to inaugurate a poultry farmhouse, something where they were killing the chickens. And that was near the area where the Phoenix temple is actually. And then Srila Prabhupada was not happy, and he went to the seaside, as is Piquant-Flac, and there they had the car crash. It was not major, but then he said, I'm not staying here. He flew back, and then he went again. He went twice. Yes. But his first experience was not that good. Yes. And that is
So is that when he had the accident as well?
the first time. The first time,
Is
yes.
that when it was the accident took place?
Yes, yes.
Right.
But he was not hurt or anything. And yes, there was a car crash while he was coming from the seaside. There was a car crash. And yes, then he went somewhere else. And then the second time he came, I think, to establish the temple or something. I'm not too sure about the second time, but the first time that was an incident. And he was not happy at all. And also, yeah, can I say something on Prabhupada now? Okay. So what happened is Prabhupada, he was happy, as you said, in Krishna Baram temple. From there, he could have happily live his life and then leave for Golok Vrindavan.
You
So
mean
what happened?
Radha Damodar temple, right? Radha Damodar temple.
Yes. So he left Golok Vrindavan. He came to Bhulok Vrindavan. From Bhulok Vrindavan, he left. He went to the west to give Vrindavan to the whole world. Then he came back to Bhulok Vrindavan, and then went back to Golok Vrindavan. That was his plan that he did. But he took so much pain in establishing this society. He really, really had so much pain in establishing. And then when he was in America, the devotees, they didn't know, and they were new, everybody was new. He was practically doing everything. Even when he was giving initiation, he had to do the kund and decorate it himself. So once what happened, he asked for some fruits. They got him cut fruits into pieces with a spoon, and they gave it to him. And he said, no, I want whole fruit put around the kund. And that also they couldn't put it nicely. So he did that. And after this initiation, and there was a wedding actually. After the wedding, after the initiation, everyone left. And he was just sitting down there, old age and tired as it was. And he was cleaning the floor. And then he was getting like agitated, everything is done. He started early and they came late, and he was leading everything. And then he was sitting down there and he was cleaning the floor because when they put the ahuti, all the rice and everything were everywhere on the floor. And when he was getting agitated, one young brahmachari who just joined the mission, he went to Srila Prabhupada and he said, why are you getting angry, Srila Prabhupada? When someone gets angry, they need to chant.
No, that was actually in Amsterdam. What happened? They were installing a deity in Amsterdam, and the TV cameras came. Everybody was present, but the persons who who were organizing the initiation, the devotees, they had so many mistakes, and that's when it happened. Prabhupada was anxious, and this devotee, as you said, came and said this to him, and then he started chanting.
Yes, he was so humble, and he started chanting. He never said, okay, why are you telling me this or that?
That's right.
So like what I think is this Krishna conscious process, it is very glorious. Srila Prabhupada has painstakingly translated the Vedic knowledge in English so that we can easily understand the process, and we should take to it, because Srila Prabhupada said, I will never die. I will stay alive in my books. So what he has done for us, it's like he has put his lotus feet on the high branches, of devotional service and bhakti in Krishna consciousness. He has lowered the branches for us. And for us, it's just we are easily getting accessible to everything. And it's easy to catch, read his books and take to bhakti. So please let us all happily accept this Krishna conscious process and let us make our life sublime. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Okay. Very good. If anybody else would like to contribute, because that's exactly what we'd like to share. I like that. Thank you, Sitaram. Thank you, Indulekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Just want to share that when Srila Prabhupada came to Mauritius in 1976, my Pitaji, Mataji, and my two sisters and myself, we were very fortunate to see him, look at him from quite a distance. he was in Rosebell, Srila, a village in the south a little bit. So after that, our life completely changed. We were not vegetarian, we became vegetarian. We don't know what happened to ourselves.
Very good.
Only a glance, a short glance. We were quite far from him. He was sitting on the foot and on the steps, and with other devotees. I don't know whom they were. We were in the car, and he was there with all the devotees.
Very good.
A
Very
great
good.
personality.
Yeah. There's nobody like him.
No one.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you very much, Karuna. It's nice you
Thank you.
shared that. It's rare to even have a glance. I think, Jenti, you sing.
I've seen, at the 73 Rath Yatra in Trafalgar Square from far as well, but that was the only time, really. Yeah. Kamakshi, you want to share some?
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yay.
I mean, I just don't know where to begin. He was just a magical personality. He took his spiritual master's instructions at heart and successfully established ISKCON worldwide in such a short time. So I think there was a hand of Krishna in here. He went through ups and downs a lot, but I think he was such a determined character that in the end he was very successful doing what he did. And for sure, he has changed my life. We were my parents were Ram conscious or Krishna conscious, you can say. But after when I got married, my husband being so Prabhupada follower, it just made me cringe to say, my God, his personality is such a sublime and such a great personality. And I am so glad that I stuck to it and followed the principles, and here we are. My husband being more into it, I just supported him as wife does. And luckily, family, children are all followers of Prabhupada, and they adore Prabhupada's books. And I think people who do acknowledge, they are the most fortunate souls. And I think in years to come, thousands of years to come, whoever gets hold of Prabhupada's books and follows it and gets to Krishna's abode will definitely be fortunate. So here I end with saying, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yay.
Definitely changed my life. And I'm very grateful to him. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing. Very, very nice. Yeah, the debt of gratitude we have to him, we can never repay, All we can do is try to serve as best as we can. Anybody else would like to share? Madhusudan Prabhu?
Haribol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Well, when, Prabhupada, it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says that unless one is empowered by Krishna, one cannot actually distribute this love of Godhead and the holy name all over the world. So Prabhupada has definitely been empowered by Krishna. And as Srimad Bhagavatam explains that, the different personalities are the Shakti Vesha Avatar, and Shakti Vesha Avatar means that Shakti means empowered energy. So obviously, Prabhupada is one of those examples, but there are great other personalities cited in the Bhagavatam that like they are empowered, even including, you won't believe it, it mentioned, including Jesus Christ and Muhammad and all those people who establishes some sort of religious principles, but they're all empowered. And then Prabhupada is also because Lord Nityananda is also the mercy incarnation, is also Balaram. So he's also empowered by Lord Nityananda. So what Prabhupada has done is amazing. And then we all give examples of how he's touched our lives. And we just cannot repay, Prabhupada, what he has done to our lives, anyway, in my life. And I'm so glad that, years ago, I was in searching for some answers, and I was reading all sorts of Bhagavad Gita, but Prabhupada came to me in a form of Bhagavad Gita in my life. And it was his picture at the back of the book, of the and his big signature in Prabhupada. That is what impressed me the most. And that moment, changed my life. But after that, I found out more and more about Prabhupada. Because nobody knew about Prabhupada at that time. Everybody had about, this, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Dhammaro Dham, Dhammaro Dham, all that kind of thing was coming through. And when everybody was confused, it's the hippie era. And I was touched by the hippie era of the 1970s, early 70s, when we came to this country. Came in 69. So when I came to this country in 69, that is just about when Prabhupada was beginning to travel around. And, 71, I think he went to Nairobi. And I just left Nairobi 2 years before that. And I thought, Prabhupada is traveling. And I relate to those dates, like when Mataji is saying he came to Mauritius in 1975, he came to Mauritius and Africa, and he came into Nairobi, Mombasa, he stayed. And how Prabhupada was touching each and every continent. His footsteps, his lotus feet have touched all the continents, even island, and like Mauritius. And when we hear of these things now, and as his pastimes are unfolding more and more and more, and he has said that, his books will be the beacon, the torch, like the lost ship. And near the land, there's a lighthouse. And the lighthouse is the guiding point for every, the ship, in case it, hits the rocks. So the lighthouse is there. And Prabhupada's books are going to be like the lighthouse, giving warning and safety. And certainly Mayapur is going to be that guiding city, in the years to come. It is already becoming a very, very the biggest temple there in his glory, Prabhupada's glory. So it is wonderful to see his pastimes unfolding, and for another 10,000 years, what Prabhupada has found. And I'm so grateful, that I've been able to contribute a little bit, because what we wanted to achieve in Coventry was a center that's dedicated to Prabhupada. I just wanted everyone to get to know more and more about Prabhupada, because through knowing Prabhupada, you'd understand his struggles, the state of Bharat, India, also how Prabhupada, he was also concerned about Bharat, and he joined the Gandhi's movement in the early days. And then he at least, he got directed properly by his guru. He left that, and he understood that Gandhi is misleading the nation completely. And on his non-violent ideology, there is more violence. There's been more violence when the partition took place. Millions died, that's more violent than his non-violent philosophy. So Prabhupada knew that, illusion, he was so illusion, so what I'm, I don't want to maybe, not to go on, but to say that Prabhupada has touched our lives. I'm so grateful, and I'm so grateful that, like I said, I wanted to just visit. When I went to New York, that's the only place I wanted to go, was that tree under which, you know, Prabhupada sat. And it's such a wonderful that there is a plaque underneath that tree still there. If ever you go to New York, don't miss it. Just go there, because that is where Prabhupada sat, you know, and you feel some energy there. And I felt so peaceful at heart, in my heart. There's something happened when I sat by the tree. Also 22nd Avenue, you know, when I visited that, there's a matchless gift store is still there. It's quite quiet around there, but it was when I went. It's, you know, but it's still part of ISKCON, or, you know, but I think they look after it in a way. And also Brooklyn Temple, I went there. But certainly, you know, our efforts have been to glorify Prabhupada, let more and more people get to know more about Prabhupada, read his books. And, you know, I was listening to Srila Maharaj explaining how, you know, Prabhupada had so many different ways of communicating. He was obviously writing letters, there were conversations, there's, you know, all his letters are published, you know, and his instructions are there, but sometimes they are very personal and very, you know, but he wanted his books and his purports to be the guiding force more than anything. So we're all fortunate, and on this day, Srila Prabhupada, I'm very thankful. Even his disappearance is a lesson for us to learn, in a way, how he left. You know, Vrindavan Dham, a few years ago, I went to Vrindavan, and first, after so many years, I went to Prabhupada's Samadhi, and I bowed down, and I felt something in my heart there. You know, you feel like I've arrived, you know, I've arrived home. I've arrived at some shelter, you know, and that's how you feel when you go to Prabhupada's Samadhi in Vrindavan. So all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Good.
Yeah.
Go on quick.
Okay. I was just reading something, and one of the devotees was saying, you know, how all the devotees are getting harassed, like selling books and things like that. So Prabhupada was philosophical, and this is what he said. He said, struggle must be there. You cannot stop it. And then he laughed. Krishna, since his birth, struggled. So, you know, what are we really in the scheme of things?
Struggle is good. If it's too comfortable, we get complacent. So actually, when we're struggling, we should understand that we are succeeding, we're successful. If we're not struggling, then there's something wrong. It's a strange way of looking at it. But if you look at Prabhupada's life, there was struggle at every moment throughout his life. Even after establishing the movement, even after establishing so many temples, in fact, the struggles increased, the difficulties increased, yet he never gave up. He continued. And if you look at, he, as Rian's very nicely said, 80 books. Yeah, he published so many books. And he traveled so many countries around the world. But look at this, right at the very end, he struggled. If you like, from a material angle, for the last maybe 8 months of his life, it was really difficult. But, and this is really towards the end, there's Jayadvaita Swami holding the mic to his mouth. He's still translating, still preaching, right until the end. So this is what I call amazing. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It's a really, there's a video done of the last few moments of his life, and it's really heartbreaking to see it. But actually,
yes, Prabhuji, maybe he's still preaching in some other planets, right? He's preaching.
No, he's gone to Golok, because that was a promise made to him by Krishna. You come here, you establish the movement, and you're back home.
But if Krishna says, okay, if Krishna says, accompany me to some other planet.
That's different, yeah.
Yeah.
He's with Krishna now.
Yes, in Pennsylvania, in his Gita Nagari in Pennsylvania, his flat is still there. The house where he used to live in that is still there. I visited that one, and then West Virginia, and then Brooklyn also. I visited that temples. I visited quite a few temples in this. Even in California, I visited the ISKCON temple. But it's everywhere. His temple is everywhere. Yeah,
that's right. And now, of course, I mean, it's a good legacy he's left behind. And Guru Maharaj always said that the success of the movement is due to the Mangalatis, early morning. That is what has kept the movement going. And Prabhupada's, of course, his Tej, his Shakti.
effulgence.
Yeah, definitely. But this Mangalati, Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj was very happy, very keen on that. You see other temples don't really maintain, even the Gaudiya Math, it starts at 6 or something. But ISKCON has maintained it at 4:30. It's really good. And it's increased, if you look at the number of temples and unfortunately with that also the politics increases. But what to do? As if there was everywhere peace and quiet, life would be very dry and boring.
You wouldn't want to go back.
And you wouldn't want to go back. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else like to share anything?
Can I say something, Prabhu?
Yes, Kaushalya.
Oh, once I remember, Prabhu, this is, I think, 1976. I nearly just passed my test, and we went to Krishna temple on Sunday, and they told us Prabhupada is here. And I was so pleased. I said, we will have darshan today. But they said, no, he's not feeling well, but tomorrow morning he will be down here for Aarti. Maybe by 6 o'clock you can come and have his darshan in the morning. So in the morning, I woke up so early and I left. My heart was beating like anything, Prabhu, because, I didn't want anybody to know in the house that I'm leaving the house so early.
Yeah.
So I came out and I had a bit of accident while moving the car out.
Oh.
And I got so annoyed, I didn't know what to do. Then I just said, Hare Krishna, and I drew fast. And I drew on M1 80 miles.
Wow.
Not to miss Prabhupada's darshan,
Oof.
So I reached Watford temple, went inside, my heart was beating like anything. I just wanted to see Prabhupada.
Right.
And then as soon as I entered the temple, they were bringing Prabhupada on the chair down there.
Oh, really? You were there?
Yeah, and I saw Prabhupada, Prabhu.
Oh.
And I was so pleased. I was really pleased to have his darshan. I bowed down. I was having tears in my eyes. I just can't explain. I just can't explain what happened.
Wow.
But I was really so pleased to have his darshan.
Guru Maharaj was there at that same time. There's a picture of him when he's coming down the stairs. That same moment. Guru
All
Maharaj.
right.
Yeah. Wow.
It was really wonderful. I had his darshan.
Yeah. Well done.
It's unforgettable, Prabhu.
Yeah. Well done. You're very fortunate, Mataji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Very good, Mataji. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
And if ever you are on the road, please let us know so that we make sure we're not on the road, okay?
Oh, dear me.
No, thank you for sharing that. Really nice. Really good.
Thank you, Prabhu. Because I recently passed the test, so I was worried. What's going to happen now? Oh my God.
Are you still driving like that, Maji? I'm just checking, okay?
Yes, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Kaushalya Maji ki jai. Okay, thank you. Srila Prabhupada's warrior.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You want to share anything about Prabhupada?
Yes, what I can share, because there is so much. He's like an ocean. If we go into ocean, there we can't find any depth like that. So I am not able to. I'm not qualified to share. What can I
Just
tell?
one thing. That thing that inspires you the most about Prabhupada.
Inspire. Although he did everything, but he gave credit to his spiritual master,
Nice.
Bhakti Siddhant Maharaj.
Nice. Very good. That's a huge one. Huge. Well done. Well done.
He also saying that he once told to his disciples, actually, you are all devotees. Even if you are one also purified, one mood is enough for me. You can take me back to Godhead. He told to one disciples like that. There are many points. If we can't end it today. That's
Prabhupada is the most glorious. Good. No, that was good. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else would like to share? Krishnavani?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Good, good. Would you like to share anything about Prabhupada?
I also missed the darshan. I was in India. I was born in 45, and this middle age I passed in India, but I was not informed about Prabhupada, and I had no sanskara to have his darshan. But I was living in the same territory like Prabhupada visited Delhi, New Delhi, and also Vrindavan. I was so unfortunate that I did not know about but I heard from many relatives and friends that there is English temple in Vrindavan established by English people. I had no chance to visit Mathura. But after reaching in South Africa in 1987, I knew the Mahima, the pastimes of Prabhupada over here in South Africa. And then I visited Mathura. Every year I went to Bharatvarsh.
Thank you for sharing. And of course, you had great samskars because you met Guru Maharaj and actually, it's we can regret that we didn't meet Prabhupada, but actually we should have no regrets. No regrets whatsoever, because we are with Prabhupada at every moment. Because without him, we wouldn't be here. So we are with him. Whether we're reading his books, chanting Hare Krishna, anything, we are with Prabhupada. He's with us because we're following his guidance. So should have no regrets. No regrets. We just do what we can for him. That's the best thing we can do.
Very much, Prabhu, for organizing such satsanga every day.
Yeah, nice.
These are your efforts. You are real disciple of Guru Maharaj.
No, I'm just a fool. Believe me, I'm looking for blessings from you and
you are spreading his message.
Thank you, Krishnavani, for sharing, and thank you for your encouragement as well. And we have to try to, I will try to improve.
No, you are doing the best.
And Nabi, as it is said, you know, that there is the Vani and the Vapu. The Vani is the you know, non-physical presence of Guru in the form of his instructions and books and his words. And so Vani is always going to be there forever. And in that, you know, in that way, Prabhupada is present all the time. So as soon as we start reading his sentences, we are in association with him. And he is even more merciful to his grandchildren and the generations to come.
Yes, good point.
So he even though may not have physically seen Prabhupada, but we're going to meet Prabhupada. Lots and lots of people in the second, third generation, even little Rian sitting there, you know, he's listening and he knows Prabhupada. And he will be, you know, in association with Prabhupada for his lifetime too. And it's so fortunate, so fortunate. So Prabhupada's mercy will be there for everyone. And I'm so pleased that so many people will actually get to know about Prabhupada more and more as time goes by.
Yeah, absolutely. Sharmila?
Okay, hold on. Comment vous faire?
Oh, no, I think she wanted to say something.
Oh, no, Prabhu.
Oh, you don't
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, Hare Krishna. Dandavas. Yeah. Sorry, Prabhu. Yeah, I've read Prabhupada's book, but and when I went to India I can't remember when was that, 1989. Then I was really impressed to visit all his temples, especially the one in Mayapur.
Right.
When I came back, sorry, 2009. Yeah, sorry, what am I talking about? Sorry, I had a dream. Yes, you know, it was a beautiful dream, and that I want to share that.
Oh, please.
Yeah, it's like I was in India and I went to a big temple, and by the gate there were like big dhanush, and someone was saying, "Oh, they belong to Lord Ram." And then when I entered the temple, I saw Prabhupada doing arti, and his wife was playing the veena. That's all. I mean, that's all I wanted to share. But Prabhupada obviously is an amazing person. Yeah, I know him only by his book. Yeah.
No, very nice. Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
That's okay.
Very interesting. He touches so many people's hearts, you know, it's just incredible. Incredible. And the thing is, his books are so powerful. Even a page of his book. I remember, I'm just getting ready for the Nashinga Arti, but I'm just speak while I'm looking for it. I remember Bhakti Rasayan Sagar Maharaj saying one man found one page of a book, maybe Science of Self-Realization, and he copied it, he copied it, and he distributed it to all his friends.
This is in Russia.
In Russia. And the whole village was into this philosophy from one torn page of, I think it was not that one actually, but probably another book, Prabhupada's book.
No, I think it's SSR.
Was it SSR? And the whole village became devotees just because of this one page, torn page, and this man who had photocopied it like 1,000 times and given it to all his friends.
So, Hare Krishna Babuji. Sure. So what does it mean when you dream about Srila Prabhupada?
I don't know. Sometimes it might just be some, like some mental thing one is going through, but sometimes Prabhupada can come to one's dream.
Because once I dreamt that he was sitting and I was serving him. But he was sitting on a small table, like a chair, a table, and I was serving him. And I was serving him in a plate, you know, not in a thali like. And so he told me, he looked at me and he smiled and he told me, that's too much, like that. And then Ganga was sitting next to her. Ganga said, okay, Prabhupada, after I will take your remnant. That was my dream also. When this person is sharing, then I remember. That's what I'm asking. What does it mean when you...
Love it. You're obviously feeding him too much prasad.
I tell you the truth. You know what happened? Because I was living somewhere else and Tishu is at the university here. We were living separately. So when I used to come to her place, I had to cook. I had to cook some and put in the fridge, in the freezer for her. So whatever I would cook, I was offering. And maybe at that time, that's what happened. I don't know.
Interesting. Very interesting. No, thank you for sharing, Maji. Dreams sometimes can have huge impact. If it improves your consciousness spiritually, then that's a positive dream, and you take positives from it. If it doesn't,
Guru Maharaj, I dream often.
Right. And if it helps, if it makes you more positive towards Krishna consciousness, that's always positive. That's always good news. If it doesn't, then ignore it. Krishna Bali wanted to share a dream. Krishna Vani? Maybe we lost him. Here he's there. Yes, Krishna Vani? Oh, we can come back to him after we do the Nishinga prayers. So, he's there. Krishna Vani, you wanted to share a dream?
Now say it.
You wanted to share a dream, Krishna Vani?
Hanji. Yes. I had a dream 2 days ago. 2 days ago that Prabhupada ji came in my city and he climbed a hill, very big, very high hill. And it was recorded as a national winner at the age of 75, 76. It was a big achievement, and Prabhupada waved a hand from the high peak of the hill. I also wanted to try. When I tried, then some villagers also followed me, but it was steep. I did not use the patted way. I used the other way where villagers had trekked the peak. But on the middle of the mountain, there was a lift. It was jammed, and on the side way, there were steps to go there. So I used those steps to reach the place. But I did not reach the highest point. That is my dream, and I came down again. So it is similarly means compared to that his high achievement in few years. He opened 108 temples in those limited time, and I was just comparing my dream with that one.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for sharing. Okay, let's Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's end there and go into